What is an unthinkable, and could you give us some recent examples?
Well, by the nature of an unthinkable, you don't think about it. But it's designed to capture the idea that so much is happening in this very disrupted world that it's not being thought about. It's not being put on the agenda of the corporate leaders and those leaders right at the top of government. Why is that happening? Because there's a mush in the middle, and people are often very fearful within organizations to send stuff up, even if they can see it about to happen. The kind of things that we're talking about are what's Putin up to, what's China up to, what's Trump up to, the inability to predict much of what is happening. And there's a whole raft of stuff in the corporate sector, VW, Wells Fargo, Google and Facebook, what's happened with Fox News as well. All these things, you say to yourself, why didn't the people at the top think about what might happen and the impact on them? They didn't think about it, even though it was probably signaled and they should have been thinking about it.
Good example. And why are organisations reluctant to acknowledge the unthinkables, and why is it so important that they do? I think you've kind of addressed that. But
Why don't companies think unthinkables? Well, it's because of the mush, the obstacles in the middle. A lot of people within companies are fearful of using their initiative, using their insight into what's happening and passing it up through the system. It is as crude as that. As one of the bits of research which is clear to us confirms, there's a fear of career limiting moves. People are worried about their careers. It may sound crude, but that's the reality. And people at the top largely want to hear things they feel they need to hear, as opposed to what they really need to hear, which are the unthinkables. And unthinkables don't get up through the system because often they're dismissed as wacky, or they're dismissed as maverick, or not worth thinking about, when actually they need to be thought about. And often it's the next generation who are coming up with these ideas, and it's not being factored in within the system. It's obstruction.
And here at the Big Ideas Summit, how can procurement create leaders who are capable of spotting these unthinkable trends and disruptions?
It's a tough ask to get this kind of thing being thought about at higher levels, because ultimately, as is quite clear from the evidence and all the massive interviewing that we're doing, it's up to the chief executives and the chairs, often the boards as well. And you're dealing with one major problem: the conformity which gets people to the top is the conformity which in many ways disqualifies people at the top from understanding the enormity of disruption that's taking place and the implications for what they have to do. So conformity is obstructing, and if you can't get to the top, it's very difficult to see how the culture, behavior and mindset can change in the way that unthinkables require.